Breaking: the U.S. government has quietly moved denaturalization, the process of stripping away U.S. citizenship, into its top 5 civil enforcement priorities. And for the first time, the IRS is now part of the hunt. This is Immiscope, your trusted source for U.S. immigration news, policy changes, and visa updates. On June 11th, the Justice Department issued a memo making one thing very clear. Officials will now actively search for cases where citizenship can be revoked. Historically, denaturalization was rare, a tool used against war criminals, spies, or terrorists. But that has changed. Today, the scope is wider than ever. It now includes immigration fraud, financial crimes, and even certain tax violations. This isn't rumor. It's officially written into the government's enforcement priorities. And it's why immigration experts warn that millions of naturalized citizens must start paying attention now. Why civil denaturalization is so dangerous. Civil denaturalization has no statute of limitations. This means the government can pursue your citizenship decades after you were naturalized. If they find evidence that you obtained citizenship illegally or that you misrepresented key facts in your application, time offers no protection. Even an incident that happened 10, 15, or even 20 years before becoming a citizen can still be used against you today. Immigration attorneys say this change is not just procedural. It's a game changer for enforcement. 2 main triggers for losing citizenship. The government typically relies on 2 main reasons. 1, illegal procurement, meaning you were never eligible for citizenship in the first place. 2, misrepresentation or concealment. You lied, omitted important facts, or gave answers later proven false during naturalization. Here's the catch. Even unintentional mistakes, not just deliberate lies, can be treated as material misrepresentations if the government decides they matter to your eligibility. How the IRS became involved. The June memo introduced something entirely new. Tax violations are now a recognized trigger for denaturalization. If you underreported income, claimed deductions incorrectly, or made significant errors in tax filings before becoming a citizen and never disclosed them, you could be at risk. The list also includes Medicare fraud, PPP loan fraud, and other financial crimes, even when committed against private companies. This is a major expansion of what the U.S. government considers legitimate grounds for taking away citizenship. The hidden danger on the N-400 form. Every naturalized citizen has completed the N-400 application, but many don't realize there's a potential trap hidden in it. Part 9, Question 15A asks if you've ever committed a crime, even if you were never arrested or charged. If you underreported income to the IRS before citizenship, that is legally considered a crime. If you answered no, but the government later obtains IRS records proving otherwise, that single answer could become the legal foundation for denaturalization. DHS wants direct IRS access. The Department of Homeland Security has already requested 40,000 specific IRS records to compare tax data with immigration files. The IRS was only able to match less than 3% of those cases, but DHS is not stopping there. Tax records are one of the fastest tools for uncovering inconsistencies. With modern technology, they can now cross-check personal, financial, and immigration data in ways that were impossible a decade ago. Privacy battles inside the government. The IRS operates under strict privacy laws, and oversharing with DHS could violate federal regulations. When the former IRS commissioner refused to exceed those limits, he was reassigned as U.S. ambassador to Iceland. This sudden move sparked speculation of intense internal pressure to expand data sharing, and warnings that resisting the push can come at a career cost. How far back they can go. IRS record retention varies. 3 years for some matters, 5 or 10 for others. But when fraud is suspected, there's often no time limit at all. This means actions you took long before your citizenship could be examined today, especially if they can be matched with details from your immigration application. Who they're likely to target first. Experts believe investigators will focus first on recent cases. Modern IRS databases are more complete and easier to connect with immigration records. They now have advanced matching systems that link employment history, tax filings, and 400 answers with high accuracy. Starting with recent data allows them to build cases faster without sorting through decades of incomplete records. The green card connection. When applying for a green card, the government asks for your last 5 years of employment history. In the past, they didn't always check if you paid taxes during that period. But with IRS access, they could begin verifying those details directly. If your immigration forms show employment, but IRS records show no tax payments, that's a red flag, one that can come back years later as a denaturalization risk. A high-risk scenario. Imagine you worked a cash-paying job before becoming a citizen and didn't report that income. Years later, DHS obtains IRS data confirming no taxes were filed for that period. On your N-400, you stated you'd never committed an unreported offense. That answer, paired with IRS evidence, could lead to denaturalization and even removal proceedings. Fewer protections in civil cases. Unlike criminal trials, civil denaturalization cases require a lower standard of proof. The government only needs to show that you obtained citizenship illegally or through misrepresentation. And with no statute of limitations, they can go back as far as they want. This means millions of naturalized citizens are technically within reach of enforcement. Why this affects so many? Naturalized citizens represent about 7% of the U.S. population, roughly 25 million people. The government doesn't have to investigate everyone. By running targeted data matches, they can quickly produce high-priority cases. And tax discrepancies remain one of the simplest triggers for investigation. What you should do now. If you're a naturalized citizen, be proactive. Review your immigration history alongside your IRS records. Make sure there are no inconsistencies that could be viewed as fraud or misrepresentation. If you find concerns, consult a qualified immigration attorney with denaturalization defense experience. Waiting until you receive a government notice could mean it's already too late to fix the problem. Final word of caution. This is not about creating fear, it's about being informed. Denaturalization cases remain relatively rare, but they're growing under these new enforcement priorities. The combination of IRS access and unlimited timelines makes this a critical issue for every naturalized citizen. By staying informed, reviewing your records, and taking action early, you can protect yourself from one of the most severe enforcement actions in U.S. immigration law. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching Immiscope. We'll see you in the next video.